first intro video.
This is Real the Greek, featuring Billy the Greek and Stormin Norman Rumack. Brought to you by the good people at Cosa and Carpets for Life.
Hey everybody, Stormin Norman Rumack here. That's right, Stormin Norman Rumack along with Billy the Greek. I'm the only one who pronounces his name properly in the whole wide world. Georgette Sakis. That was part of why I went to Syracuse University. I learned how to pronounce names properly. Anyways, we're here to have a nice little rap session of sports, NFL, Major League Baseball, Jays, Yankees. You've been riveted by that. Probably riveted by the NFL action on the weekend. So we're going to cover it all for you from head to toe, from A to Z, whatever you like. And, of course, we've got some great sponsors we want to acknowledge, including Nick, the King of Carpets. We'll hear from him a little bit later.
Hold on. I don't want to stop you. I don't want to stop you in the middle of...
Well, no, I was just going to
It's not the king. It's not the King of Carpets.
Okay.
Smarten up.
Well,
it's the mayor. I go to the mayor.
The king is even better. What's wrong with it?
The mayor of the Carpets, Nikki Boers, Carpets for Life. Thank you for your support. Continue to look out for the best way to make you out. We'll get you a deal or two down the line. Anyways, carry on, Norm.
Yeah,
Cosa,
of course,
too.
Cosa, the Standardbred Horse Racing Association of Ontario. They've been sponsors of Billy and I since day one. Great folks, great drivers, everybody involved in the organization, trainers, and we thank them immensely for their loyal support on our show. And speaking of which, we always like to present one of their races from yesteryear. This is really yesteryear. It's like more than 30 years ago, 1989. Billy, how old were you in 1989?
Next question.
Anyway, so this is a Cosa Classic.
Wasn't born yet.
From Greenwood, I think it is. Greenwood Racetrack. Remember, we used to have two racetracks, Woodline and Greenwood. From Greenwood, 1989, then come back. Baseball, NFL, all for you right here. Stormin Norman and the Greek Billy Georgette Sakis.
Donner for the seeding seventh race, the Canadian Pacing Derby, and there they go. They're off and pacing. Take a look, leaving out. Bayes Fella from the outside is Runnymede Lobel. Camtastic 4 deep into the turn. Matt Scooter is fifth now between Pacers, and Indian Alert is the early trailer in sixth. Up on the outside, and here comes Camtastic now. Take a look up the rail going with them. Runnymede Lobel is third on the outside. Bayes Fellows away in fourth. A length back to Matt Scooter racing in fifth. And Indian Alert is sixth off the turn. Camtastic now inherits the lead for Tom Harmer, taking the field past the opening. Putter in 27 3/5. Here comes Runnymede Lobel up on the outside now, and Matt Scooter's on the move. The three of them across the track in front of the stand. Runnymede Lobel, Matt Scooter on the outside. Camtastic up the rail. 2 lengths back. Take a look, racing in fourth. Bayes Fella is fifth, and Indian Alert is sixth. Around the turn towards the half, with the lead is Runnymede Lobel, Camtastic second, Matt Scooter parked out now third, take a look is fourth, 2 lengths back to Bayes Fella in fifth, the half 55 and 4/5, they're on their way down the backside. With the lead is Runnymede Lobel, Matt Scooter driving up on the outside in second, Camtastic racing in third, on the move now is Bayes Fella following live cover in fourth, take a look is fifth, Indian Alert is sixth, 3/8 remaining, Runnymede Lobel, a long neck in front, Matt Scooter on the outside second, Camtastic right there third, Bayes Fella's fourth, in fifth, take a look, Indian Alert is sixth, Runnymede Lobel opens to a length and a half at the 3/4 and 1:24 and 1. Matt Scooter on the outside second, Camtastic racing in third, Bayes Fella is fourth, take a look is fifth, Indian Alert is sixth, they're at the top of the lane, Runnymede Lobel, Camtastic firing up once again, on the outside here comes Matt Scooter closing in, Runnymede Lobel, Camtastic trying to find racing room, and he finds the room, Camtastic, Matt Scooter, take a look, Camtastic, here they are.
The 1989. By now, you know the name Cosa TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. Cosa TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. Cosa TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks again to our friends from Cosa. Their highlights from many years ago, or not so many years ago. So thanks again to Cosa for their sponsorship. Billy Georgette Sakis to my right, Greek, and Stormin Norman. All right, Billy, I know fairly so and accurately so. You made sure everybody knows about your betting on the NFL, and especially going in the toughest kind of bets, where you got they wager on the as we call the exact, not the exact, but the margin of
What do you get?
I'm just saying, I wanted to know how you did this weekend on your NFL picks.
Here's the issue, Norm. That obviously that hasn't been the greatest start. You know, when you talk about ties and kissing your sister, I've been making out with a heavy hitter sister for 3 weeks now. 3-4 week 1, 3-4 week 2.
So this is against the spread.
What do you think it is? Of course, it's against the spread. 4-4 this week. So obviously, 10-12 is unfamiliar territory. I hadn't had a losing week in 3 years. All of a sudden now, things are going against the Greek. A little bit of adversity, but at the end of the day, ask yourselves this: my previous exploits are well documented. And do you honestly think a guy like the Greek, in no time flat, is going to figure things out? Like I'm like the LA Dodgers of sports handicappers, right? Yeah, I got off to a little bit of a slow start, 10-12. You know what you should do? If you don't think I know what I'm talking about, just bet against me then for the rest of the year, and we'll see how that turns out for you. Anyways,
all right.
Very excited about week 4, but before we get to week 4, here's got a little bit of a problem. I got a problem with a couple Blue Jays in specific. You played the Yankees yesterday. You're in the midst of a playoff race. You know, you're pretty secure in your wild card spot, and then you got 2 guys there. You got 2 guys, which really, in essence, is the core of your club. Rumack, pay attention. And that's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette.
Wow.
So, explain something to me, Norm. Rumack, you've been watching sports for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? Any excuse that you can see for some of the exploits by those 2 guys on the biggest of stages?
Yeah, well, everybody online was talking about that last night. And, by the way, what you're alluding to is the errors, whatever causes it, lack of focus, concentration, or just having the right attitude towards the late games in September. And to his credit, because that was the conversation after everybody, and justifiably so, was crediting Buck Martinez for, no, I'm saying, you don't often, Billy, you agree, I know you will, you don't often hear on most broadcasts or the local broadcasts for their teams, whether it's TV or radio, where the color guy, the announcer, whether they're a former player or not, of course, Buck was a former player for Toronto, calling out and really, like putting, figuratively speaking, like the boots guy, he was really upset, saying, like you can't, like you said, you're saying, like, if you're the Blue Jays, you cannot play like this and make these kinds of mistakes.
Well, Don, first of all, Buck. First of all, it's about time Buck Martinez, and you know Buck is a very passive guy. He's not a homer, but he's politically correct behind the microphone. He knows who's paying his bills, but he's had enough. You said earlier, something about the Blue Jays' lack of effort, this, that. You know what it is? It's none of that. You want me to tell you what it is? It's one thing, and they're suffering from a bad case. And this is not only the Toronto Blue Jays. Pay attention out there. This is a microcosm of all sports. You know what the Blue Jays and their young guys are suffering from? And it's a terrible, it can inflict a clubhouse, and it can be the hardest obstacle towards putting together a club. You want to know what that is?
What?
Pimpitis.
What?
Pimpitis.
You'll have to define that. I know what the
it's
first syllable
pimpitis. Listen, let me tell you something. You've been trying for 30 years to find this. Everybody and their mother out there. You play professional sports, and everybody, no matter what the sport is, right? You know what they want to do. You know what the achievement is: to win, but to look cool while doing so. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Right? Down 5-1, first of all. You're down 5-1 in the 6th inning, right? Unless you hit a ball 525 feet in the 5th back, you got to bust your hump. So what's Vladdy doing? Why is he doing that? Simple question. Because the innate desire to be cool. He wants to be cool. And let me tell you something. You can't be a pimp and then maybe. You can't hit a ball 332 feet down 5-1 and hope it gets out of the yard. You cannot do that. Number one, I know things have changed. You're a dinosaur. I'm in between generations. I'm a young buck. So don't get me wrong. I love that kind of stuff. but it needs its time and its place. You take a look at Bo Bichette. You potato heads out there. You see him. This guy, instead of watching Troy Tulowitzki and how he plays a shortstop position, this guy thought he was Tony Fernandez for the last week. Sidearm flips, this, that, the other. Why, Norm? Why?
I can't.
I'm telling you, pay attention. He wants to look good. He wants to be a pimp, Norm Rumack. That's what he wants to do on the field.
Let me ask, because some people watching are going to wonder, why are you using that terminology as opposed to lack of focus?
It's not lack of focus, man. I'll tell you.
So tell us why you're using that description.
Listen. I'll tell you. And you can go to the sandlots, both the sandlots of baseball. I coach a baseball club, and you can go watch kids, and they emulate these guys. Go watch I coach a baseball club, and I have a guy, my number 5 guy, right? Love him to death. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. He hits one early in the year,
Okay,
right?
well, no, just tell us.
T-shirt Junior Bulldogs. Anyways, my guy hits one in left center, and he's in the box like this, and he hits it, and he's starting to walk, right? Walk, like he's got all of it, right? You know where the ball lands? That's what he thought. Just like Guerrero, right? Just like Teo Hernandez. And it wasn't. So the bottom line is, you cannot pimp a ball at the plate and then hope it gets out. If you're going to pimp a ball at the plate, then you're going to say, God bless you, that ball better be 450 feet, and I'd advise you to be winning the game while you're doing that. If you're pimping shit 5-1 down, excuse my language, right, and it doesn't get out of the yard, you know what you look like? A fool. And Vladdy Guerrero, you saw the look on his face. He looked like a fool last night. You saw the look on Bichette's face when he flipped that ball. They looked like fools. So, boys, stop trying to be cool. Stop trying to hot dog. Stop trying to showboat and play the game. Play the game 100%. That's what Buck's telling you. They don't have the jab to tell you exactly like I said it, but that's the point behind it. So what do you do if you're Schneider? You know what you do, Norm? You yank him out of the game. You pull. Remember Billy Martin with Reggie Jackson?
Yeah,
you know what you do? You know what you do? But these guys are scared to lose the clubhouse, scared to offend Vladdy. If I'm in that clubhouse and I see Bo flip one like that, you know what I do? I send out Otto Lopez to play shortstop against the New York Yankees. I embarrass the hell out of him. You know what? And I guarantee you, the next time that ball's hit, I don't give a shit if he likes me. You know what? I want you to play your position properly. So you know what? You bet your sweet ass, Norm Rumack, that he'll make that throw the next time.
But in this day and age, Billy, I think you'd agree. It's way different now than in Billy Martin. Way different because of the money they're making. I think so. Yeah, Schneider could be at some point, in the offseason.
No.
Hang on. Guerrero would probably.
What you gonna do? You're scared to talk to the guy? You're the manager.
No, behind closed doors.
Man, you know what? Sometimes you know when the point is best made. Because if you're Guerrero, no matter what the manager does to you, you can't be wrong and strong. If the guy yanks you, you're the leader of this club, man. You're Vladimir Guerrero. The night before, you walk him off and you say, this is my house. If it's your house, act like it. And you're not jogging down the line at 5-1 when you hit a ball 327 feet, thinking that you're God's shit. You don't do that. If you want to be a leader of the club, you want to be a champ, you want to be... You don't do that kind of stuff. And if the manager doesn't have the jam to say, you know what, come here, go sit on the bench. Go sit on the bench, and he'll never do that again.
Let me ask you this: from the current, the current crop of managers. So again, I'll go back to my point. Is there any manager in this day and age with the salaries and the power that the players have and their ages and all this stuff, as opposed to the manager? Do you think? Forget the Blue Jays for the moment. Is there Vladdy, Bichette would play for another organization or another? Is there any current manager who would have done what you said?
How could any manager? You liberals have infiltrated all of pro sports, man. Guys scared to walk. Every guy's walking on eggshells. You don't want to offend this guy. You don't want to do that. Do that with Buck Showalter. Go out and go run in a baseball. And again, man, the point that I want to make here, and you have to be very clear to these guys. I don't mind you looking good. Remember Ricky Henderson with the snatch catch and all this stuff? I don't mind you looking good. I don't mind you being flamboyant, right? But pick and choose what times you're going to do that. Be smart enough to understand those situations are dictated at certain times. As I mentioned, Teo hit a home run 500 feet in Tampa Bay. You can sit and watch that one till the sun come out, and that's fine. But if you're hitting one down 5-1 and it goes off the left field fence, frankly, you haven't been tearing things up in the first place. You bust your hump and you don't make that out at second base. And when you make that out at second base, you come back to the dugout. You know what? If you play for me, I don't care if the GM or if Akin Shapiro would say this. I say, you know what, Vladdy, come and sit beside me for the other 4 innings. I don't care if you're God's greatest gift, man. Because you know what? At some point in time, they might not like you that minute, but they'll respect you. And you know what? Who will respect you? That clubhouse will respect you, right? And that's something these managers don't have the ability to do for whatever reason. For whatever reason.
I'm just saying, I don't think any other manager in the majors right now is any different.
Well, I don't know. That's why I can't get a job. That's why nobody will hire me, man. I'll turn things upside down. Number one, again, to me, if Bo Bichette makes that kind of flip, you've got all kinds of time. You're making that kind of flip. Why? Because you're showboating and you're hot dogging. You don't need to flip a ball like that. All you do is set your feet, watch a little Troy Tulowitzki and how he handled the defensive position. That's who you should emulate, Bo Bichette, not Tony Fernandez. You don't have to look cool. You don't have to be pretty on every throw, man. All you got to do is get it across the diamond and hit the guy in the chest. The next time you get pretty like that, you know what I do? I send Otto Lopez out to play shortstop. I don't give a rat's ass if it's in the middle of a pennant race, right? And then I sit the guy right beside me. And if you don't understand that and you don't learn, so be it, man. But you take that chance. I don't know what Schneider does behind closed doors, but sometimes you know what? The only way to get through to a guy is to embarrass him on the field. Because you know what? When you're running balls like that, you know what you're doing? You're embarrassing the Blue Jay organization. You're embarrassing the fans. You're embarrassing yourself, number one. When you slide out at second base like that and you've walked to first base, again, you know what? You should be ashamed. You should be embarrassed, and that should never happen again. That's why Buck was pissed off. Why do you think Buck was pissed off? Buck doesn't do anything and never say anything because he had enough. I'm just using more creative language to exploit the point. But the sentiment's the same, man. You got to bust your hump. You play your division, your playoffs on the line. Yankees want to come and clinch in your barn, and you're walking to first base down 5-1 on a line drive. Get the hell out of here, man. Get the hell out of here. Enough's enough. Sorry for the. He gets a little bit out of control. This guy. Don't mind him. Enjoy your evening. Didn't mean to shock you there. Thank you. Live at the bottom line, Norm. Before we move forward, obviously it's a big day at the bottom line Wednesdays. Not only are we here, but if you're here a little bit early, but they got some good talent here. They got my man Jordan and the Gooch live on Wednesdays.
They got some good wings too.
Not only that, but they're like the little appetizer, those guys, right? You know, you come in and then you got the main course. You got the borderline Hall of Famer and yours truly. That's why I'll never get a job coaching in baseball. Right? But at the end of the day, you know what?
You never say never.
But at the end of the day, ask me what happened with my guy. That lost the first base.
Did you sit him right away?
I came in and talked to him. I pulled him aside. I said, listen, kid, you want to be a team leader? He goes, yes, sir. I go, you want to lead this club? All right. Do you think if you walk like that, what kind of example are you setting for everybody else? Right? Do you think you're cool? Do you want to be cool? You know what cool looks like, my friend? You know what it does? Bust your ass 1,000%. That's what fans love. That's cool. Not flamboyant shit that the Blue Jays are doing over the course of the last couple of days. And until they mature in that kind of way, that's not a championship club. Does not conduct himself in that fashion.
By the way, I'll point out one other thing that Buck Martinez iterated. He complimented two organizations in terms of having the player personnel who play the way you said, and many people have said, including Buck Martinez, that they should be playing. And the two organizations he highlighted were the Cleveland Guardians, and by the way, the Tampa Bay Rays. He said the way Tampa Bay can keep up with Toronto and New York, in spite of the fifth lowest payroll, is because their guys play the right way and they play hard all the time. So
see, absolutely. But therein lies the issue. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Vladdy Guerrero does not play hard. I'm not going to tell you that Bo Bichette does not care. Like, if you guys are watching or somehow see this, man, God bless you. I love you to death. And what I'm telling you is not wrong. I'm not telling you they don't care or play hard. I'm telling you, as young men, and this is, again, a microcosm of professional sports. You watch it in the NFL, you watch it in hockey. Everybody wants to style and profile and look good, man. Like, I'm telling you, folks, you go watch a Sunbeam in a Sandlot in Toronto. If a guy hits a ball, he wants to sit and admire it. It's just a microcosm in society where everybody wants attention, everybody wants to be cool. And the greatest attention, the biggest way you can be cool to the people watching you and to your teammates is to play the game 100%, bust your hump 100%. And if you ever get one 500 feet at Talbot, you can walk, man. You can watch it. But if you watch it, Norman Mac, here's the point. If you watch it, that ball should have never hit the fence, the top of the fence. If you watch, you know what that means. You have no doubt. And if you have a doubt, you bust your hump. Simple, man. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
So anyways, the Blue Jays, Mr. Caviona, there he goes, man, and counting the cash again.
Yeah.
Bottom line, greatest spot in Toronto. Come on down.
West, 5 minutes from Union Station.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Never mind. It's a good spot, and we're very happy, as always, to be here. Happy to be supported by Carpets for Life, Cosa, everybody on board with. We appreciate your patronage.
As I said about Buck Martinez, you're right. Usually he's pretty calm, cool, collected, pretty relaxed. I mean, it's not the easiest thing when Rogers Communications owns the team. They own the broadcast rights. They own the stadium. And I was going to say, I'd like to see some of that, a lot more of that, on the Maple Leaf telecasts. Not to pick on the Maple Leafs, got nothing to do with the players themselves in terms of broadcast, but you can tell there's a very, very strong reluctance to ever criticize the Maple Leaf club in particular. And I see that on the pod. Now, I don't even blame the announcers because I'm going to guess, without knowing, I haven't spoken, I'm going to guess that they're...
Sorry, Norm Jordan, can we get Norm live on his feed if possible?
I got it. I got it for today.
So he's live, Norm?
I'm still looking into it, but for today it's up.
Okay, awesome.
Right,
Thank you.
That's our hard-working producer, Jordan Mirage. Good man. All right. So anyway, my point is, I think when announcers are brutally honest, as Buck was, on a broadcast, I think that's what the fans want. They want the honor. Doesn't mean you don't like them. Doesn't mean you don't cheer for them. But there is time to be brutally honest and sorry, this is not the way.
Let me ask you something. When you were young, right?
I was a homer.
Did you ever want to be a pimp?
No.
Did you ever try to pimp shit, Norm, when you were back in your day? Or were you just a calm, cool guy? You're like...
Are you kidding? I didn't go on my first date till I was in grade 13, for God's sake.
Hold on. But when you used to walk into some establishments, I'm not going to call
when I was working.
Hold on, yeah. When you used to walk into some establishments, I'm not going to call them seedy. Yeah, I'm talking about. Did you walk with establishments? Did you walk with your collar out? You walk like you were a big deal, did you not? You didn't walk in like humble and meek.
Well,
you
you
were trying to be a pimp, Norman.
No, if it was a bar or restaurant, I would be humble, but I had some other sponsors where it was a different environment. One of them for a year was...
We don't want to know, Norm. It's a family program. We don't want to know about your exploits. We just want to know, did you ever try to be a pimp?
No, I was always...
Norman's never been a pimp.
You know me, I try to be polite and a gentleman. Actually, one of my sponsors was Treasure's Gentlemen's Club. That was one of the...
Norman Rumack, man, aspiring it.
And the other one was Whiskey A Go Go. So.
You got a little pimpitis in you too. Don't kid yourself. Speaking of which, obviously, Jays wrap up the series today with another piece of work. This is a different guy, man. This guy's the one thing that I'll say about Mitch White is he's not guilty of showboating. He has not showboated.
He's had humble beginnings to his Blue Jay.
Holy geez, so you got a guy, this is part of the Blue Jays. Obviously, Mitch White's not going to see a playoff roster if his life depended on it, but they're still throwing this guy out every fifth day. So you got Mitch White against Garrett Cole, wrap up the series. You got Judge stuck at 60. Still lots to play for. You're wrapping up a wild card magic numbers, too, so you might clinch tonight. Having said that.
Yeah, and by the way, the Yankees clinched last night.
And if you watch the Yankees, they're
very muted
on field. Yeah. But you also saw that in the dugout, that afterwards they had some clips of them. They celebrated, but they did not celebrate on the field.
On the field.
You know why?
Because that's not their goal. Their goal is a World Series.
Because they know you celebrate too loud on the field. That other club over there is watching you, and you still might have to face them.
They did it the right way.
And consummate professional. Say what you want about Boone. Not a lot of guys. All my friends in New York don't like the guy. They want him out. But say what you will. Credit to the Yankees where credit's due. They've overcome a lot of injuries. And you know what? You can knock them, say whatever you like. Aaron Judge, obviously, one of the greatest seasons in the history of baseball. But they've won 98 games. Give the Devil their due. They're going to be tough in the playoffs, starting to get healthy. But again, if I'm a Yankee fan, I'm still concerned with that back end of the bullpen. Clay Holmes closing games. Trevino. Loaiza guy. If I'm Boone, I trust Loaiza more than anybody. Doesn't like to put him in those ninth inning spots. If the Achilles heel on anything for the New York Yankees will be the bullpen, if that should happen.
By the way, I'm going to run something by. Speaking of the Yankees, it's not an issue right now. It will be in the off season. So, Aaron Judge, the contract aside, do you think, as part of the contract, whatever, because obviously the Yankees don't want him, they can't afford him, their fans would riot if they didn't keep him with the money that he wants. But that aside, considering Billy, the Yankees have not had a team captain since Derek Jeter retired. Hard to believe it, since 2009. How much would that mean if you're in the shoes of Aaron Judge?
Not an iota. What, to come back? If they give him
the
the seat?
contract and the captaincy, because the Yankees don't always have a team. They only have, 4 or 5 in their history.
I'm sure first of all, Judge is a very humble guy, consummate professional. He wear it with pride. But at the end of the day, that's not going to come down to whether the Yankees give him the seat or not. Obviously, we know the seat that he's looking for is cold hard cash.
Of course.
Right?
He's going to get it.
He's going to get it. Bet on himself, he's going to get it. He's had an unbelievable season, right? And he's going to get paid. Now, where he's going to get paid from? The Yankees can't afford to. If I'm in New York and you lose your franchise at 30 years old, can you imagine losing them to the Mets?
Anybody.
Like, hey, especially the Mets, your crosstown rivals. And you know what?
Got money, too.
The Cone's a maniac over there. He's got purse strings that rival the Steinbrenner family. Like Steinbrenner's historically been known to outspend somebody, but you got a guy in Queens that's got more cash than you. Then you're on notice. Obviously, you're on notice. So that's yet to be determined. But as for the Blue Jays, what I would say is perhaps as Harry Tomitis chimes in, Lee, Steven, all you guys, how you doing? As Mitch White once again takes the mound, right? I'm thinking to myself, let's think out loud. You got Kikuchi, all right. Kikuchi hasn't panned out in the way that you want. You're paying Kikuchi 3 years, $45 million, right? Why in the blue house Kikuchi not starting that game and you got a Mitch White, a journeyman, and you got Kikuchi? At least Kikuchi might find lightning in the ball, can strike out guys. You never know. If you want to work on this guy, throw him the ball. It can't be any worse than Mitch White. Mitch White's not wearing a Blue Jay uniform next year, while Kikuchi will be. You're investing him financially. Throw Kikuchi out there. Tell Mitch White to see you later. Like, you get started 10 times. You've gotten lit up 10 times. And every time you come in the game, the Jays got to score 7 to win. It's not a good way to play baseball. So Mitch White against Cole, obviously Yankees heavy favorites. And you know how baseball and sports gambling is a fun thing as it is. Blue Jays might win 10-1 and Mitch White might go 6 scoreless. You never know.
Okay, so do you want to jump into the NFL?
We're going to jump into the NFL. We're going to jump into a little Toronto Raptors, but before we do that, we're going to give a shout out to our friend and our good buddy Nick Borsch, Carpets for Life.
One of the nicest guys you could ever meet. I just met him through Billy.
Stop sweeping it under the rug. Carpets for Life. We'll see you on the flip side.
Welcome to Carpets for Life. For over 30 years, we have been servicing both residential and commercial clients in the sales and installation of custom stair runners on wall-to-wall areas. Our team prides itself in honesty with a regard of professionalism and customer satisfaction. Our many testimonials and continuous referrals is a testament of the quality of workmanship we provide. We strive to ensure a happy customer is a Carpets for Life customer.
All right, thanks to Nick.
Thanks to Nick, eh?
All right.
You know what's a good thing about Nick, unlike some other guys that might be wearing the blue and white this year moving forward, get into that, Johnny T injury, Nick doesn't mind going in the corners, right? If sometimes you have carpet issues and you gotta dig, Nick will dig, man. He's a guy, he's a plumber, he's a fourth line guy, he'll go right in the corners, man. He'll take care of you. Carpets for Life, reach out if you got any needs, residential or otherwise. Nick Borsch and Carpets for Life.
He's a good man. So, yeah, give him some of your business. Put in some carpets, some gold, whatever the case may be. All right, so we're going to move on to the NFL. So,
we're going to NFL, man. This is a Toronto Maple Leaf City, man. And the captain's gone down. You want to talk about the National Football League? Wait your turn, man.
All right, go ahead.
You're talking about Johnny Tavares, Captain Toronto, man. This guy, I don't know if you realize, Rumack, Johnny Tavares, when he was a wee little guy, used to wear Maple Leaf pajamas, man.
And he had Maple Leaf blankets. Even I didn't have that.
He bleeds for the blue and white down for 3 weeks. What do you make of it?
Well,
big
3
deal,
weeks.
Small deal, no deal.
We're not like that. And sometimes the initial scenario is much shorter. I'm sure he works out, coming from an athletic family, a family of rock stars. I'm gonna hedge my bets, using your terminology, that he'll be ready to go much sooner. This is probably good. I'm sure it's in good shape to begin with.
Oh God, no, Rumack, that's an oblique injury.
Just a guess. It's just a guess. But I think he'll be fine. How's that?
That's an oblique injury, Rumack, we're talking about here. We're talking about something that may linger. All right, let's suppose worst case scenario. It's not as good as we initially thought. He's out 3 weeks. Alarm bells right there off the hop, because you know when guys give injury reports, they're always on the more cautious side. They're not really gonna. If you hear 3 weeks, you better start thinking 4, 5, and 6.
Something, and obviously I wish he would speedy recovery, no matter the injury, no matter when it happens. What I'm just saying is, like, I always look at something like that and say, you know what, it could have been worse. God forbid. It could have been 3 months, right? If you're talking about something.
All right, let's suppose it is 3 months.
Well,
big deal, no deal, or little deal.
Well, he's a hell of a player. It's a big deal. Yeah, it takes away because I talked about this with you before. Just forgetting the Leafs playoff goals for the moment. The one thing, for the most part, they've been lucky with this current, current generation of Maple Leafs. Anyway, the current generation of Maple Leafs is, for the most part, the Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner era, was basically the last 5 years. Okay, the Dubas dynasty, if you want to call it that. They've not been hard hit by injury. They had it Austin in his first year. He had whatever, I don't know, his shoulder or wrist, whatever the heck it was, maybe a concussion. But they've been very fortunate, Billy, that way. And you just hope for the Leafs. Okay, so again, this is 3 weeks, maybe a month, whatever. But it's true, it's the beginning of the season. And hockey, NHL GM, my friend Mr. Devellano, Reverend told me.
Is Jimmy Devellano a friend of yours?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, I've never heard you say that before. What?
The Hall of Famer. He's a legit Hall of Famer. So anyway, they told me that the NHL season, when GMs, executives start to look at their club and closely in terms of, we're not all right, we need to do this, is around U.S. Thanksgiving. So it's about the first 20 games.
Can you still wear white after U.S. Thanksgiving? What's the rule down there? You know?
Well,
when you went to Syracuse, what time did you have to, that little white dress shoe and those shoes you wear to clubs? When were they out?
Billy, I'm
September?
proud to know a lot of times when I went to class, just because I wanted a style and profile and show.
And be a fit, yeah.
Yeah. My first time on the show, I was like, see, I'm from Toronto. I wore my league hockey sweater and my Blue Jays t-shirt to classes. In fact, my student picture, one of them, I'm wearing a Blue Jays shirt. How do you like that t-shirt? That's 1980. Yeah, so there. Anyway, so I'm just saying.
Jeez, you're old. 1980 you're talking about.
Well, I am. I'm getting up into Jurassic Park territory, which I'm proud of. And yeah, now I'm 67, though. 67, like the last year of the Leafs won the Cup.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, so no, I don't think you have to, obviously, like I said, wish speedy recovery to anybody who's injured. But for Tavares, like I say, I look at it, 3 weeks could have been
Full time, yeah. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, that's fine.
Nothing, but it could have been a lot worse.
But see, and again, the issue here is that obviously Tavares getting back, obviously is going to be a big deal. But as you mentioned, it's better if he's going to get hurt. It's better now than at the end of the season. We saw what happened with the Leafs when Tavares went down against Montreal. Big impact in that series. So again, we'll reserve judgment on that and see how the boys improve. Come over. When's the puck drop? October 10th.
Okay. All right.
Hey guys, we're live on there. Keep it down, man. It's a big program. Gooch, get over here, Gooch, and come and say, we want to ask you a question, Gooch. All right.
Kerry Goulet,
Former
pro hockey player in Germany.
Oh, gosh.
Hey?
And the exec producer of this show.
I'm not a producer. Come on.
So, Gucci, tell us something. I told the folks earlier about Wednesdays are big days at the bottom line.
Huge.
Look what's going on in here, eh?
And look at you're on TV here too. Also, it's just crazy. You should have shaved.
Hey, I tried. I shaved in the shower. I live in a basement apartment, no mirror, so I got to shave in the shower.
What's really interesting is I got to ask you this question as we go through this. You missed Lucky. Lucky was here, and he was jabbing you the other day.
Yeah.
Would have been great to have you there. He had the ball cap on. He had the dark glasses, and they said this isn't a betting show, and we're not playing cards. Look at the glasses.
Yeah, well, what do you know? Yeah, that's it. Those are my calling cards, Gucci. You know what I like to do more than anything else?
Yeah.
I like to keep the people happy, especially the female persuasion. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing a great job of that. Hey, it's always an honor to be with a legend. Of course, Stormin Norman, Billy the Greek. What a great show you guys have got on. Of course, we got to say hello to the mayor of Carpets.
Absolutely.
He was down here the other night enjoying our Oktoberfest.
I'm going to add in quickly.
Yeah.
All of you folks watching, I know, are going to be anxious to keep up with Team Canada and the World Cup soccer going on in Qatar. And James Sharman,
not James Sharman,
James Sharman.
James Sharman. Used to see him when Sportsman carried the Premier League games. He's agreed to.
You know what I like about that guy? Only to interrupt. Let the Greek talk.
Wait a second.
Let the Greek talk.
Oh, jeez, God willing, I'm open because Qatar.
Not God willing. It's we can have it.
Maybe Qatar we can get because he's going. He's going to Qatar.
Get him live.
Well, we'll have him here for a preview. So don't worry, you're a footy fan. Team Canada and whatever your national heritage, whichever countries overseas you follow that are involved in the World Cup. You're going to get all the coverage.
Hey, Stormy, you're a soccer dude, and I know a little bit about soccer. I tried to kick a ball once, and realistically, this is a big moment for Canada. No,
while you were playing hockey, before you played hockey?
No, I actually showed up in Germany, and our coach was a soccer nut. So training camp was kicking the ball.
Heavy training.
No, serious.
You are training, aren't you?
I am. I'm down 2 pounds.
Yeah, you look good.
I'm going to play in Hanover, Germany, December 17th. This body is going to put on a show. You can't teach the stuff that's in these hands.
No, and the break too,
This is
right?
a serious question, though. I've been watching soccer quite a bit, of course, and I've never been a huge soccer fan. Obviously, I'm jumping on the bandwagon, as I'm sure a lot of Canadians that don't have an affiliation to a team. You, obviously, with Chelsea, you with the Greeks. I don't think they made it. Talk to me about the sincere opportunity for Canada to not only develop a real strong stranglehold, it's building, but the real chances of Canada advancing in this. Is it real or just
well, it's real, but they're in a group with two of the toughest, most prolific footballing nations.
Germany?
Well, no. They're Belgium and Croatia. Now I can tell you, and Turkey. So I don't want to be up there, but I'm just saying, Belgium and Croatia are heavyweights. Those are countries. Those are footballing nations.
Hold on, Norm.
Wait.
Because you know what you're talking about. Croatia, number one. You know what Canada has, baby? We got the Canadian pride, the Canadian heart. And you know what Croatia has? Old legs, Norm. Those young guys from Canada, you know what they're going to do?
Alphonso Davies, for example.
Yeah. Well, he plays in Germany.
He's the best player on the pitch in that game.
Here's the thing. Nobody would be surprised based on the last couple of World Cups. Belgium is overdue. Kevin De Bruyne is probably, certainly one of the top 3 or 4 midfielders in the world, okay? So I'm just saying, and that's just for starters. So no one would be surprised, just leaving Canada aside for a moment, if Belgium or Croatia ended up in the Final Four or even in the final. That wouldn't be a surprise. Nothing to do with Canada. I'm just to give you an idea.
Can we ask you? Devil's advocate. All right, we understand Belgium, and again, they've been on the cusp. It's fair, but they haven't delivered in the big moment. So number one, you haven't delivered in the big moment. Who's to say you're gonna now? There's a history there. And number two, Croatia obviously getting a little bit older. Do you see a possibility that maybe we've, you think European football, that we've given these guys too much credit in terms of Canada?
No. Canada has to play hard and play at their best to take down those two nations.
He's got a better shot at Canada to win the World Cup or the Leafs to win the Stanley Cup?
I'd have to go with your Leafs.
Yeah?
I'd have to go with your Leafs.
Really?
Sorry, I stole your mic.
No,
You're not allowed
Get in, don't worry.
Team Canada, Coach Herdman knows, the players know, that when they go out against Croatia and Belgium, they have to play their best game ever. And I'll tell you, it would be a victory for most of the people watching, for people cheering for our country, for Canada. If we were to get a draw.
Oh, stop.
No.
Stop. You're talking about, hold on, I'm sick of, you're talking about these Belgium and these Croats like they're God's gift. They're 12 men.
They are.
Okay, I didn't know I was going to end up
Belgium are are the.
Are you even Canadian?
Yes.
Let's go back
I
to
just bought an Alfonso Davies T-shirt.
And you're telling me we should be happy for a draw?
I feel I should be
Yes.
wearing a referee jersey.
I'm telling you,
Final thing.
if you get a draw against Croatia, Belgium, 99% of the people watching right now
I agree with
would
that.
be having a case of beer.
What did Herb Edwards say?
Mayday, Mayday,
No.
Mayday,
What did Herb
Mayday.
Edwards say? You play to win. What are you talking
I didn't
about?
know that.
We're going there to dominate.
Listen, let me tell you something. If you're
Tell that
watching,
to Alfonso Davies, have him on and tell him, hey, Davies, you know
Hey,
what?
you know what?
You better be lucky to get a tie. You know what I'll send you.
Okay, stop this.
Wait,
Time out.
I gotta tell them.
Okay,
Guys,
go.
take it to the bank for your next mortgage and the mortgage after that. If Canada gets a draw with Belgium and Croatia, the people in Belgium and Croatia will be demonstrating in the streets, Billy.
They'll be burning it
So,
down.
in other words, what they think of is Canada's inferior competition.
That's what they think.
So here's
All
my
right, we got a surprise for them. They don't know the blood of the Canadian
Just,
man.
I gotta leave. I got Mayday. Brad May's in the bar.
Brad May?
I gotta
That
go
was
see
Mayday?
that. That's
That was
Mayday.
Mayday.
That's
That's
Mayday.
why, yeah.
So here's what I want to ask you. The final thing as I leave. Has Canada not, and not, let's not tell the players this, has Canada not won already in the fact that
Send Brad May in here.
that
Well,
we-
just like
we're in-
all my first time
Is that
since
not true?
1986 in Mexico, we're in the World Cup.
Go Canada, go! I think they beat Croatia and they tied Belgium.
Send Mr. May over here for 5
Yeah, tell Mason.
All right, now send him over here. Tell him the Greek wants to
Remind him
meet
I
him.
went to the first Brad May Invitational Golf Tournament.
All right, so we're getting off this obviously passionate, and I'm playing devil's advocate with you, right? So
But I think that's fair. I guarantee anybody watching now who follows soccer, footy, if Canada got a draw with Belgium or Croatia, it's like that is impressive stuff considering how good they really is. Turkey, I think, in fairness, we should.
what do we take away? What do we take away from the 2-0 loss to Uruguay?
Well, don't forget. You know what?
All right, no, hold on, because I'm learning.
it's not great.
Let me finish. People want to learn. I want to learn. How would you compare Uruguay's 12 to either Belgium or Croatia? Are they on the same level? Not close. So you're telling me
They're
Croatia?
okay, but they're not in the same ballpark.
Then Uruguay.
Not as Belgium, Croatia. No. That's a whole different. That's the upper tier. That's the upper tier of world football. So there's a lot of countries that have a chance to win it. But I'm saying, how many years ago Croatia was in the final four?
And you know what's lucky?
And Belgium. But you're right, Belgium is overdue. Never mind, they could. I'm saying Belgium is overdue. You look at the talent, and I said their finest player is Kevin De Bruyne. The guy is a superstar midfielder. He is one of the very best in the world in terms of distribution, playmaking, all of it. So I'm saying they have the talent. Both those teams.
Yeah, they have the talent.
Belgium maybe more so, but
They have the talent, Belgium. But from what little I know here, Belgium is one of they're continuously ranked in the top 3 footballing nations in
and
the world
they
FIFA
have
rankings,
disappointments.
and they haven't won anything.
But
So the jury's got to be out.
Yeah, but Billy, that can also mean they're overdue.
No.
Maybe this time they
That
together.
means, first of all, if you've been in international competitions, you're continuously ranked at the top of the FIFA rankings, and you fail to deliver. That means there's something inherent with
Well,
it.
you know who's like, okay. You know who's been on the cusp?
So the Leafs are on the cusp.
Yeah, but they failed to deliver.
So they're like Belgium.
They are overdue, but they better do it this year.
So they're like Belgium, the Leafs, what you're telling me. So Belgium's got a shot, but the Leafs are going to write them off. What happened to you? Used to be a homer, used to be a Leaf guy. What happened to you? You want to anoint Belgium as the greatest thing, but you want to slag our Canadian national club and our beloved Maple Leafs?
That's not a Canadian team. I think they'd say, thank you, Stormin. You're picking us to have a chance to get a draw with Belgium and Croatia. I'm just saying.
There's no draws. There's no
most
draws.
Canadians watching will be celebrating. And that would be fair. If they get an upset, it'll be one of the biggest upsets ever. I'm telling you now, in World Cup football, if Canada were to knock off Croatia or Belgium, it would be, for anybody, anywhere, one of the biggest upsets in the World Cup history.
Well, again,
And that's not a knock on the Canadian players. That would be to their credit.
time,
They're going to work hard. There's no question about that. Work their tails off.
again, never discount, never. Canada, for the most part, has one advantage, and they got young legs. I don't know the composition of the rosters in Belgium, but Belgium, especially Croatia, if memory serves, tend to go with elder statesmen, tend to go with guys that are more advanced in age. So Canada might come, right? I don't know. Is Croatia built a team differently this campaign?
I mean, they tend to be more veteran-oriented, but they're how do I put it? They're a very tough-minded,
Yeah.
hard-nosed.
But here's the one thing
they're not intimidated by anything.
But here's the one thing they're not. They're not Greeks, right? They don't have the heart and it's very disappointing that the Greeks are. But may I remind you about the 2004 European Championships demonstrated by the great motherland. The Greek heart, baby, the Greek heart. And the Croatians don't have the Greek heart, I'll tell you that.
No, they do.
No, not the Greek
Ask
heart.
anybody who's watched. Ask anybody who's watched Luka
Alexander the Greek was not Croatian.
Ask anybody who's watched Luka Modric play.
Alexander the Greek was not Croatian. Okay?
I'm telling you, Modric is like a magician. He could probably deal cards while playing with his footy cleats while he's playing. So I'm just saying the guy is incredible. I'm just saying that's just one example. So I'm just saying, you got Modric and you got Kevin De Bruyne playing for Belgium. Those guys are monster players who would be hard to control and hard to stop. But I have no doubts about the effort in the heart of Team Canada, and God bless.
All right, so what you're telling me, it's very unlikely that Canada gets a result off either Croatia or Belgium. Is that what you're telling me? No, I mean 3 points. It's very unlikely is what you're telling me.
I would say it'd be a shock.
All right, so in other words, you have this team. If it's not much of a shock,
but what I'm right?
No. If Canada wins, Norm, shave your head right here. If Canada beats, hey, put your money where your mouth is. Shave your head live. Come on. If you're that sure.
What if I'm right? You're going to shave your head?
I'll buy you wings.
Oh!
I'll pick for the wings.
No,
I'll pick for the wings.
I got a better idea. If I'm right, you put on a dress.
You put on a dress? You'd like to see that, eh, you sick bastard, eh? What, do you want to pit me? What, you want me to put you in heels and pit me? Put me on Jarvis in church? No. What the show? This guy? No way. He wants to put me in friggin' heels, man. Springing at heels, man. I don't know where this show's going. Anyways, I don't know. For those of you still remaining somehow and still tuning in, man.
Would any of Billy's friends favor that? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I've had my moments. I don't want to go into detail, man.
Okay. All right. So
I like to explore, but let's
don't worry. On this show, you'll see me wearing my replica Alphonso Davies t-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a tie on the back.
And by the way, I just want to say, Alfonso used to watch Chelsea because his dad was a huge Didier Drogba fan. So, of course, his dad had the Chelsea games on every week. So, that's another reason why I like Alfonso.
Olympiacos, pal. Forget Chelsea.
No, he loves Chelsea.
Olympiacos.
He said so. It's on his bio. So,
all right. Speaking of Saints, so biggest takeaways, Bills come, obviously, for those of you that are watching, thanks for tuning in. We'll get to a little bit of NFL, talked about the handicapping off the top. We'll get a little into that moving forward. Biggest takeaway, obviously, Bills in Miami. Cowboys go to 2-1. Where do you want to start? Bills in Miami?
Actually, if you don't mind, I want to just give a little love or a little talk to the two clubs we haven't talked about yet. Jalen Hurts and his Philadelphia Eagles, and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that was impressive. But you got to admit that, did you expect the Eagles to be playing when you're in their regular division with the Cowboys? Do you expect the Eagles to be playing the way they are? And Trevor Lawrence, it looks like his game is really picking up.
So the Eagles, all right, here's what you've done if you're an Eagles guy, right? You beat, who'd you beat week 1? You beat the Lions. All right, you beat the Commandos. Who'd you beat in week 3? How'd you go 2-0? You beat the Vikings at home. All right, 24-7, pretty impressive performance. So who won? Hold on, you haven't played anybody yet. And you wanted everybody's putting the Eagles on the top of their power rankings. Why? You haven't played nobody. You played inferior competition. Jalen Hurts, yeah, he looks good. He's got toys. But Jalen Hurts is not a established commodity.
No, he was carrying the clipboard.
So hold on now, man, with your Philly enthusiasm. I got a lot of fans. Take it easy. You're 3-0. All right. Wait till you play somebody before you get too excited. Wait till you play somebody. You know what? Because Philadelphia, again, they might be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Too early to anoint them as the number 1 team in the league. Are these people ridiculous to make these rankings? No way in hell, man. No way in hell. As Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, over beating three kind of mediocre clubs, deserve to be at the top of the power ranking.
You got to play whoever's on your calendar, right? It's not his fault. They play whoever's on their schedule.
That's fine. But I'm telling you, the Eagles, yeah, maybe they're improved. Maybe they got A.J. Brown, but maybe they got some weapons. But your weapons are not known until you're tested, man. Until you're tested by some premium opposition, right? And until that time comes, come talk to me. And as for Jacksonville, obviously that's a kind of a seismic turnaround from the guy they had in last year. They brought in the ex-Eagles guy, for his name escapes me. 2-1, nice story. Could they end up, I don't know, 10-8, 11 maybe? Could they end up 6-12? Maybe.
Considering
Too
how
early
long
to
they've
say.
been floundering, it is pretty big for them.
Too early to say. But if you've collected first overall picks in the upper echelons of the draft for the last half decade, you should be. At some point in time, you should turn the corner, right?
Oh, yeah, well, just like a few years ago, the Leafs got a number of great draft picks, right? Because they were floundering for a while.
Again, too early to decide on anything except to say that the Dallas Cowboys, my Dallas Cowboys, might be the best team in the NFC. But might, no, honestly, now you're a bit of a homer, but might possess the best defense in the NFC. Combination of D. Lawrence and Parsons off the edge. Name me anything. Jordan's a football guy. Jordan, this is a football show. Jordan, name me two better guys coming off the end than Parsons and Lawrence if Lawrence is going full strength.
TJ Watt, Aaron Donald.
But they don't play on the same team.
No, oh, the same team. Same team.
Right, coming off of two edges. When you can, as you know, in football, you don't watch a lot of football. Let the Greek break it down for you. Here's the goal of professional football. And Jordan Willis, that's because he's a smart guy, unlike yourself. The goal is to rush the quarterback with four guys and drop seven into coverage. That's the winning recipe for every football player. And as long as Dallas has Parsons up there and can rush the guy with four, drop back seven into coverage, they're going to be okay. And you know what? Not only okay, but I still like the Cowboys over the Eagles. The Eagles haven't shown me anything to suggest they surpass the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East.
All right, we'll find out soon.
Well, we'll find out. I already told you. You don't need to watch. Yeah, we'll find out. I just told you.
Okay.
We'll find out. No way.
So, how about Tua and those Dolphins? And how about, wasn't offensive coordinator Dorsey? That was one of the best losing it by an assistant coach.
I wish we could show the footage.
It's like,
You guys have probably seen
we
it. It's
didn't see what
unbelievable.
was left of the press box, but certainly his headphones were done in, the papers.
I wonder what he
Even
said
the
to
other-
Capaccio after the show, after the game.
I was wondering if his voice goes into Josh Allen's ears. You see, Josh had to be consoled by Tua after the game. Did you see that?
Bills Nation, obviously, are very sensitive. They don't like to lose, especially they've been anointed best team in the league, Josh. But here's the deal. If you watch that game, there's only one place that the Dolphins won that game, and that was on the scoreboard. They got dominated in every statistical category, found a way to win a football game. If the Bills played the Dolphins, riddled with injuries in the back end, if they played the Dolphins 10 times down in Dade, Florida, if they played them 10 times down there, the Bills would win 7. And if the Dolphins came up to Orchard Park in January, they would win. Maybe Miami would win 1 out of 10 games.
Well, they just signed more because they have two more defensive players.
Look, if you look at objectively at that game, you put an L in the Buffalo loss column, but at the end of the day, Buffalo dominated that game, and they did it with half a defensive roster with all those guys on the show. You play those two teams come late December, January, right? And Buffalo is still head and shoulders above Miami. That division has not gotten tight yet. Miami's a little improved, but let's not get carried away.
All right. Okay. And even Kansas City, although that was a special teams problem in terms of their loss.
See, the funny thing is when you're handicapping football and looking at it, you think of Indianapolis. It's akin to a must-win game early in the season. You're 0-1, you're falling behind, you're looking to go winless. So you can see that coming ahead of time. Like clubs that were anointed to do something moving forward, and Indy was picked by the majority of pundits to win that rather lackluster division, right? So you think they're going to go 0-3? You knew they were going to come out with an effort. Indy plays decent at home, right? So again, that's one of 18 weeks of the National Football League, and the parity between clubs has never been closer between top and bottom. You get a Jacksonville club going into San Diego, wherever the Chargers play, and win by 25. Who would have thought that, right? The parity in the NFL is razor thin. That's why, if you notice, for you gambling guys, every 90% of the games were decided by a touchdown or less. That means coin flip city all over the place, right? And that's just how the NFL likes it. Parity-driven league.
Yeah, geez, you would know. That's awesome. When was the last time Cleveland beat the Steelers? Or am I missing something?
Cleveland beat the Steelers in the playoffs. Not last season, the season back. They went into Pittsburgh and they put 40 on them, if you remember. So they have a playoff win. when they went on and lost in Kansas City. They won the opening round in Pittsburgh. But you take a look at the Steelers. The only thing comparable to the Steelers that we remember is the uniform and the name and the aura, right? And Tomlin. Yeah, Mitch Trubisky running that outfit. Not a plethora of talent on outside in terms of skill position guys. Your running back, Najee Days, not the greatest thing either. So Pittsburgh Steelers, as one could anticipate, are on a somewhat of a rebuild, a decline. So losing to the Browns or competing with the Browns, obviously the Browns are moving towards a different direction. Steelers are going this way. But the thing, obviously, we can't separate in our minds as sports fans. It's just a stigma. Steelers, Browns. You're thinking about a Super Bowl organization, one of the three, and then you're thinking about the sack Browns. Those times have obviously changed for the better part of this year and moving forward into the near future. Right, so?
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to ask our student, Jordan, how much time do we have left?
4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
Where does the time go, eh?
Well, time flies when you're having fun, though.
Where does the
We're having
Jesus?
fun, aren't we?
Where's the time go? It's me. I'll get them next time.
It's like great time. You know, you have these great streaming matches. You know,
Hey,
whether
too many
it's
streaming.
footy, or North American football, or footy, or say the World Cup.
Obviously, when it comes to footy, I refer to you. Obviously, I'm a sports guy, so through and through, I just like to know and until see it with my own eyes the disparity in terms of roster composition and talent. Because as you know, Canada, other than playing international friendlies and CONCACAF, has done. So explain to somebody for the last minute, and then we'll close with this. Explain to somebody the difference in quality of football between CONCACAF and in Europe.
Well, okay, just look at the rosters. Look at Alphonso Davies plays in Germany. He's a world-class player. Okay, but after that, you got, and I'm just talking about. They work hard. They put effort. They're capable of pulling an upset, but they don't play in, for the most part. They don't play in the top leagues.
And I'm asking, what's the disparity
Well,
in
the
terms of
disparity is the Croatian roster, most of them, and most of the Belgian roster, where their players would be in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Not every single one. I don't have the roster in front of me. I'm just saying they play at a higher level of competition.
you arrogant Europeans, man? You always think you're better, eh? Arrogant. Oh,
They're
the
not
Champions
interested,
League.
eh?
Oh, the. You know what? Hold on, Pop.
It doesn't mean Canada can't blow it up.
Hold on. You just told me an hour ago that Tampa Bay plays the right way and they hustle this, that, the other. So why can't it be in reverse? Why can't Canada pull a Tampa Bay and outwork a Croatia with younger leagues? Why is it
saying they can't. I'm just saying it's not that they won't work. It's not a question of work. It's just a measure of comparison of skill. That's all it is. Like really, if I was to say to you, okay, you'd like this. Here's a bit of an analogy. The Canadian football league, their guys work hard. You know, they've got American players. I'm just saying, hang on.
So you're comparing Canada. You're calling Canada the Ottawa Rough Riders.
They don't exist anymore.
No?
Red Ones. Okay, my favorite CFL team is Saskatchewan. All right, doesn't matter what you call it. I'm just saying, if the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Billy, and we're going to talk about Canadians, we're going to show you Canadian play. If the Saskatchewan Roughriders were to play your Dallas Cowboys, A, who would you cheer for? B, what would be the outcome of the game, Billy? Show your Canadian pride, wave your flag. Thank you.
Saskatchewan, man. Is it from a part of Canada?
Yes,
I don't consider Saskatchewan.
Wendell Clark.
I don't consider Saskatchewan part of Canada. I don't know.
What are you talking about? Joe Sakic.
Saskatchewan. Anyways, the point is, so what you're telling the people is Canada is the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they're going to go play the Dallas Cowboys coming in. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, nothing to do with that, but just in terms of overall quality of the team. I think most people, if they're being objective about it. Yeah.
So if USA plays those same clubs, same results.
Well, USA.
If I remember correctly, Canada beat the USA. Did they not win CONCACAF? Did they not beat the US? Oh, but the US hasn't. What are you getting at?
No, wait. The US is also on a lower level. Most people would agree.
But you would give the US a better shot to beat Slovakia. Because you're biased. No? Or to beat Belgium.
I wouldn't give the U.S. a better chance to beat. I think the U.S. would be against Belgium and Croatia, but they're not in that group. They're not in the same group. Okay, I'm just saying the U.S. could get a draw. I think even for that. You know.
You know what?
They would say, hey, a draw against Croatia or Belgium is a great result.
You know what I think you have?
But,
I think you have the classic. I'm gonna tell you what I think it is.
What?
I haven't diagnosed you yet. We've established that you don't have.
Dr. Sigmund.
We've established you don't have
Sakis.
tymphanitis. You don't have that.
Or is it Billy Floyd?
No, you know what you have? You have Canadian chronic inferiority symptoms.
Which is why you don't like the CFL.
You have Canadian chronic inferiority.
Which is why you don't like the CFL.
Listen, Canada to compete on the highest level.
You usurped 3 of our final 4 minutes.
You serve.
This is the last minute of play in this game.
Glad you're having fun.
Are you pulling your goalie? You need to.
You're damn right, man. You're damn right. I give my tug.
Okay, well, now you better show. Okay, we got a minute left, so we better thank all the people here today. Jordan LaRoche, our world-class superstar. Yeah. He knows his NFL, he knows footy, producer. We want to thank the Gooch, Carrie Goulet. We want to thank the Bottom Line Restaurant that hosts us, fine establishment. You see all these busy people who are taking in the show for a second or two behind us, walking across Front Street, really up. And so, yeah, we want to thank all of you for watching. Whether you watch it live or on Memorex, later. So, thank you. And, of course, Cosa, our sponsors, and, of course, Big Nicky.
Big Nick, Cosa, and you know what? We'll close it on this. Vlad, don't ever let me catch you, man, staring at something that doesn't leave the fence, man. Pull up tonight, let's go. Vlad and Bull, put the team on your back and play the game the right way.
Thanks for watching, folks. God bless.